Here's something millions of people rarely admit out loud. Millions of people secretly want out of the life that they built. Not because they're lazy, not because they're ungrateful, but because something about modern life just doesn't feel right. Now, I admit I have these feelings even today. I got the place of my dreams. It may not be a palace, but I still get dreams, man. Maybe I could have me a nice place out in the desert, even further away from people. Or maybe I could live down on a coast somewhere, right by the water. It seems like in our lives, it's just never good enough. We might have the best of all the worlds, and still there's something inside of us that thinks there's something better. The grass is always greener on the other side. A lot of us, though, we are leading lives that we're not happy in. We would rather be somewhere else. I've lived that life too, more than once. And people seem to drift into lives, it just happens. They drift into lives they didn't intentionally choose. I can think back in my life so many times I took a job somewhere which created a whole nother batch of acquaintances and friends. And before you know it, I was into this and I was doing this with all my friends and why don't you move here? Why don't you do this? People have a big power of suggestion. They can help you mold your lives. And before you know it, you're taking a look and saying, hey man, what am I doing here? And why am I out in this knitting class? Okay, what am I doing here? I'm not into this. I don't really like it. And depending on how long you've been doing whatever you're doing, you might feel like you're stuck in that life. You're never getting out. Maybe you get in a relationship and you get married and, oh, it's too late now. I can't get out of this now, but I'm not happy. That happens all the time. I'm sure there is a lot of you watching that have these exact same thoughts, that you feel that you're stuck into a life that is not content. You're not happy. I think that's pretty much perfectly normal. And modern life is exhausting. Just think of all the things we have to keep up with today. We're constantly learning. Things are constantly changing. Then you have the news. If you watch the news, you're getting fed all of these stories that you don't even know if half of them are true. Well, most of them aren't. You go down to the corner store, you see your neighbor there, you start a conversation about maybe something that you've seen on the news. This is how life drags us down sometimes. We get caught up in everything that's going on and we just want out. We just want to run away, scream, run away, and never come back. I've had that thought occasionally through my life. Why don't I just get in the car and drive? Or I've gotten out a road map. We used to have those. We didn't have Google Maps or any of that. It was an actual piece of paper, and I would open the page that had the United States, and I would close my eyes and spin my hand or spin the map, and bam! Nope, don't want to live there. Too many people. Nope, don't want to live there. It's too cold. Many a times I done that. I don't think I ever moved anywhere where I was playing spin the map, but it was fun to dream. Sometimes you just might need to build what you're thinking in your head. And then you need to say, well, what would be the pros of this and what would be the cons of this? And if the pros outweigh the cons, well, then maybe you better consider changing your life for real. And there's a constant pressure, especially by society, to just pretend everything is fine. Okay? You don't go around telling your family, I hate my life, I hate my life. Nobody really does that. But you do deep down. Now, you may not hate your life right now. There are some out there watching who do. But you just don't ever tell anybody. Or maybe you do. But society puts a pressure on us that it's something that, you just have to buck it up and go with the flow. Do you? Do you just have to go with the flow? Because I stopped going with the flow. And once I did, my life got a hell of a lot better. Because the flow doesn't always flow, if you know what I mean. And a lot of us start living for approval instead of meaning. You want to have the nice house, you want to have the nice car, you want to have the good job, because that means approval from others, from your peers, from your family, from your spouse. If you are working a job that you hate, but it pays well, because if you don't, your spouse is going to, they're going to hate you or dislike you, or probably you feel that they're not going to look at you the same way. Well, you're already messing up. And a lot of us do that. Tilly, you don't have to worry about any of these things I'm talking about. She's down there, trust me. I'm not talking to the ground. But yes, society definitely puts a lot of pressure on people, and you see it everywhere. Social media. That one's the worst. You get on Facebook or whatever and you see, well, I grew up with this guy. Look what he's got. Look at his car. And so that makes you want to go out and top him. You want to have that car or better. You want to get the next year model, so you top him. You want to have a 4-bedroom house because he has a 3. Social media is a constant reminder to us of the things we could have. You watch a YouTube video. You see a man building a nice house on a nice piece of property, and every other day there's an update. Well, we got the bathroom done today. We're going to go shopping for a vanity and cabinets and a tub. You're jealous inside because you would like to be in his shoes. Or maybe there's a person in van life that's driving across the country, seeing all the beautiful sights, and they're filming it and you're watching it. You want to see this with your own 2 eyes. You like the video part of it, but it's not the same as being there. So social media has a big influence on the way we feel about our current lives now. I do remember watching people building homes and doing a lot of things before I even got my property. And that made me yearn to want a life like that. And it ended up happening for me. But to achieve, I think, the happiness like I have, you have to go through a lot of unhappiness. If you're in a relationship that you're not happy with, I think that is probably one of the worst things that we go through as humans. We are in a relationship, or we're married, and you maybe have been married 10 years, and you feel that you're stuck. You're stuck in this fairy tale life of going to work, coming home, doing what you do on a routine basis, and it's not fulfilling to you. There are millions of people stuck in that routine, and there's a lot of divorce because of it. I don't know what has changed in people to want a different kind of life. It's something in today's society that makes us rebel. We don't want to have to go to work every day. We don't want to do what our grandparents did. It's a different world from when your grandparents grew up, and things are a lot different. So I don't think it's a bad thing to wish for a better life. It's what we all want. It's just how you go about it. Now, there are smart ways to do it, and there's dumb ways. Dumb ways would be to just pack your bag and leave with no plan. You couldn't do something like that. Now, I'm not making a video to tell you to get up and leave and follow your dream. You have to Probably if you're married, discuss it with your spouse, or if you're living around your family, discuss it with your family, see what they think. Your family might encourage you to do it. I doubt your spouse will. Depends on the financial situation. It is possible, if you are married or in a relationship, to get that person on board with, sit down and say, hey, this sucks. Look at this house. We're in this neighborhood. We got this whiny HOA president with the great big glasses and the blue hair. We got to get out of this. What do you want to do? If she says or he says, well, I kind of like this. Well, then then you're in trouble. You need to stop the conversation right there, because they're not going to be on board. But they might surprise you and say, I hate that crap too. I just do. And then you start planning together. It's probably easier that way than if I went out and planned by myself. But you never are going to accomplish any kind of dream you have unless you try. At least you can say you try if you failed. Everybody has some sort of fantasy. We daydream. We see it in our head. You might be sitting in your cubicle at your office, and you close your eyes. One of them wallpapers come up where you're on the seaside, and you can just imagine yourself just running down the sand. Ooh, there's a seashell. You bend over and pick it up, and this is the life. And then your boss walks around the corner, catches you drifting and daydreaming. You got them reports ready. You are knocked back into reality, and you hate it even more. But daydreams are what make dreams come true. So don't be afraid to do them. Just, don't do them when you're going to get caught doing them. And one of the toughest parts of it, I guess, is knowing. Just knowing deep down, and just knowing 100% that you want out of your life the way it is right now. But you don't know where to go, how to do it, or if it's even possible. Well, I'll tell you this. You're going to make whining noises, I'm making my movie. Yeah, did you want to take over? Did you have some things to say? I don't think she does. You made me lose my train of thought. But not knowing where to go, how you're going to do it, what the sad thing about today is everything takes money. And it really wasn't so bad, and probably until the last 10, 15 years, you could do something on a small amount of money, but it still takes money. We get stuck in car payments. We get stuck in mortgages. You just can't up and walk away. I wish you could, but you just can't. And usually what happens, if it gets bad enough and somebody says, screw all this, I'm walking away, their credit goes to hell, then they're not able to accomplish their dream. So it's a trap, any way you look at it. I would tell most people, you could probably plan something to get closer to your dream if you just give yourself a 4 or 5 year plan. Start paying down your debt. Start getting together the things you need and getting rid of the things you don't need. And trust me, we don't need most of the things we own. But to be stuck in a life that you do not like is not the way to live, and you have to at least try to take a step towards a life that you do like. Now, sometimes you might have to compromise and meet in the middle. You may not get the dream home that you've seen in your cubicle in your daydream, but you can probably get something close. This place I got, it wasn't my dream place, but the nice thing is you can turn it into that. If you're somewhat handy with your hands, you can do anything. And it may not be a huge place, but it's my place. And I can make little corners. I could make one corner, I could put a little waterfall and some chairs and a place to go relax. And I could do whatever I want on this property. But I have to keep moving forward with that. And when these thoughts, I still get these thoughts that maybe I should live in the desert. Maybe I should go over to this part of the country. Or this, I never rarely want to go outside of my country. But we always, I think that's part of being human. As a human, you're adventurous and you're constantly wanting to do things. Just take a good look at your life. Write a list. What's good about my life? What's bad about my life? Usually if the bad things outweigh the good things, then you might consider making a change. And I don't know if this helps anybody, but you know, I've been through all of these things. And the hardest part isn't, watch it Telly, the hardest part isn't knowing what you want that you want out. The hardest part is not knowing where to go. So you have to figure that out. Yeah, Telly says she agrees. Thanks for watching, folks. Happy trails.